Flight Simulator 2020 looks absolutely stunning in places, however, it often isn't an accurate representation of what an area looks like today, instead being a snapshot in time from when the reference imagery was taken. This means that you can use the sim not just to travel anywhere in the world, but also to travel to different places in time. With that in mind, today I'm going to visit a park that's completely different to any other one I've shown so far. Indeed, in my last video, I noted that a lot of parks looked a bit overgrown, however, that's something I can forgive for this next park, as it's been abandoned for 15 years. Taking off from New Orleans Lakefront Airport, just a short flight away is what remains of Six Flags New Orleans. This park was hit badly by Hurricane Katrina in 2005 and remained underwater for over a month due to the shape of the surrounding terrain. As a result, the park and rides were so badly damaged that it was impossible to repair them, and Six Flags New Orleans has remained shut since. Little of the park could be salvaged, however, one or two of the rides were relocated, including the B&M Invert Batman the Ride, which used to be located in this large space, but is now operating as Goliath at Six Flags Fiesta Texas, and you can actually find it there in this game too. Most of Six Flags New Orleans, however, remains in ruins, including a large wooden coaster called Megazeth, a wild mouse coaster, a Vekoma Hurricane, and a boomerang. If we fly over the car park, however, we can actually see some new construction, although sadly this isn't the start of a revival for the park, but it's actually the set from the 2015 film Jurassic World. If you've seen the film, you may even be able to recognise some of it. The remains of the park have also been used as a film set for several other films, including Percy Jackson's Sea of Monsters and Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. There's been a couple of planning attempts to revive the park, however none of them have gotten off the drawing board, so it remains a haven for urban explorers and a potential movie set for more films. It's interesting snapshots of moments in time like this that I'm going to explore more of in this video, which is why we're off next to the German city of Hamburg. Now, Hamburg doesn't actually have a large amusement park, however it is home to the Hamburg Dom, which is a large fun fair that visits the city 3 times a year. In-game, it appears to have caught the area shortly before one of these occasions, as a single roller coaster is visible, and appears to be under construction. If I'm not mistaken, I think this is Wildemaus XXL, which travels a lot around Germany, and has actually made the trip across the channel to Hyde Park Winter Wonderland in London on several occasions. So far, this is the only travelling roller coaster I've found in-game, but there may well be others waiting to be found. The next area I'd like to show is one that's seen some huge changes since what we see in-game. Orlando, Florida is home to 4 large Disney parks, and some of them have completely transformed in recent years, which allows us to place the depiction here as about 6 years in the past. Starting out at the flagship Magic Kingdom Park, you can find an unfinished version of the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train ride still under construction. You can even see the barrier that hides the construction from guests' line of sight if you look closely. The rest of the park hasn't changed a huge amount since then, but if you were to go there today, you'd find a large new attraction based on Tron Light Cycles being built nearby to Space Mountain. Moving on to Disney's Animal Kingdom, you can actually see some very early construction taking place for what would become Pandora: The World of Avatar, which was a major expansion that opened in 2017. Whilst we're visiting Animal Kingdom, it's also really neat to check out Expedition Everest, the incredibly themed roller coaster that was the most expensive coaster in the world when it was built. The theming is very impressive, although we can actually get a sneak peek around the back, which is quite a stark contrast. It goes to show the thought that Disney Imagineers put into making immersive worlds which draw you in whilst you're inside the park, as you'd never guess that the back of the mountain was just a flat building. The next park has probably seen the most drastic changes from what we see in-game, Disney's Hollywood Studios, parts of which are unrecognisable from what the park is like now. For a start, we can see the iconic sorcerer's hat in the centre of the park, which was the park's centrepiece until it was removed in 2015. Another icon that's been removed is the water tower with Mickey Mouse ears, seen here, which was also known as the Earfell Tower until its removal in 2016. The area nearby is now home to a new roller coaster themed around Toy Story called Slinky Dog Dash. It's the whole southern section of the park that's changed the most, however, as nearly every part of what we see here was destroyed in order to build the new Star Wars Galaxy's Edge area. In the middle, we have the set for the Lights, Motors, Action Extreme Stunt Show, which ran for over a decade and I was lucky enough to see before it closed. If you look closely, you can even make out some of the red and black stunt cars they used to represent goodies and baddies for the show. Behind the stadium, we can also see an aircraft that was actually Walt Disney's private plane and was part of another removed attraction, the Studio Backlot Tour. This ride was clearly inspired by Universal Studios and took guests past several film props and sets and into some action set pieces. The ride began in a section below where you can make out a water pool and boat and even see some of the pipes they used to create explosions of water. If you look very closely, you can also make out some of the props and models that you drove past in the carts, and the carts themselves can also be seen parked nearby. The highlight of the attraction, however, was this section here, Calamity Canyon, where the carts would stop and experience an earthquake, flash flood, and exploding oil tanker. It was quite an impressive ride, and everything was done with practical effects, rather than video screens and 3D glasses that you get in most rides nowadays. So there we have a quick look at some historical snapshots of different parks. There's a whole world in-game to explore, so let me know in the comments if you find anything particularly interesting at other parks. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video, and if you have, why not check out some of the other videos I've made, and subscribe for more content in the future. I've been Rollercoaster David, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you again in another video very soon.